Good morning. Thank you for joining us live here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal. This Monday morning, I'll be getting you a roundup of all the top stories. If you've been missing out on exactly what's been happening across the world over the weekend, I've got you covered. In the next few minutes, I'll be touching upon all of the stories that are expected to develop through the week as well. Let's begin with the top story of the day that we've been tracking for the last many weeks. What's happening in Afghanistan? Yesterday, the United States has confirmed that they conducted retaliatory drone strikes. This is after what happened on August 26th when we had those terror strikes being reported outside the Kabul airport, in which the United States lost 13 of its soldiers. US President Joe Biden had assured right then and there that they are going to hit back, that they're going to be targeting the ISIS Khorasan, who claimed responsibility for the August 26th suicide bombings. Now, keeping that in mind, you saw the United States conducting these retaliatory drone strikes. So you had drones going ahead and bombing ISIS-K areas. The United States said that they targeted one vehicle. This vehicle had, they said, a number of suicide bombers. There are remnants of that vehicle, the footage of which we're running here on India Today as well. There are some reports that suggest that some civilians also died in this retaliatory strike by the United States, that women and children, according to locals, also died in this strike. The United States has said that we're looking into that, but this is the concern, that while you're seeing this kind of strife tearing through Afghanistan, it's the locals, the Afghan nationals, who are really going to be struggling to cope. The United States at this point, while they've said very clearly we have nothing to do with what's happening in Afghanistan, after what happened on August 26th, have vowed that they're going to act against ISIS Khorasan, the terror group that's becoming increasingly and dominantly active in Afghanistan. With all of the uncertainty, they're making the most of that. Besides that, also you've got a lot of questions about the evacuations. Tomorrow is the last day, August 31st, that the Taliban has set, after which all troops, US troops, UK, anyone who's there will have to move out. No more evacuations will be allowed. We're hearing about 300 US nationals are still there. India also will be on the last leg of evacuation. So far, Operation Devi Shakti, as it's called by the government, has been successful. We've been able to pull out a lot of Indian nationals, a lot of Afghan Sikhs and Hindus, all of whom have been brought here to India. Now, as far as India is concerned, there have been a lot of questions about what the Taliban takeover really means. Can we actually have dialogue with Afghanistan now? What about all the infrastructure projects, the investments that we poured into Afghanistan to ensure development for the people? All of this, there's a big question mark over. But the Taliban have made it clear that they want good relations with India. They want good relations with their neighbors, is what they have said. Remember that the Taliban is trying very hard to project an image of themselves as a government of Afghanistan, as representatives of the country. They're saying that we are going to ensure there are diplomatic ties with other countries. We have a conversation also playing out here on India Today with the spokesman of Taliban, Zabiullah Mujahid, who said exactly this, that we will try and ensure that we have good ties with countries, particularly with India. We want to ensure that we see things through for trade reasons as well. And we'll have to see how really the government reacts to that, keeping in mind all that's happened. So far, there's been no clarity from the government on how really they're going to take things forward diplomatically with Afghanistan, whether they're going to be engaging the Taliban or not via diplomatic channels. So still a big question mark on that. So far, the only conversation and only confirmation that's coming from the government is that they've sort of adopted a wait and watch policy. So that's essentially all that's happened in Afghanistan. I just want to quickly update you also to news that's just come in of rockets being heard in Kabul, but that the air defense system ensured that the rockets didn't manage to meet and hit the target that they intended. We're still getting information on exactly who fired these rockets, but that's something that you can track closely here on India Today. Some of the other stories I also want to highlight here is one, the COVID crisis. Now, it's very worrying what's been happening in Kerala. I've been reporting on that through the whole of last week, where we saw cases going above the 30,000 mark as well. Now, the data that came in last night from Kerala on the daily cases was that it's about 29,000 right now. So still very worrying, very slight decrease in cases. The hope is that it will further decline. This kind of decline that we've seen right now is simply not enough. The positivity rate has also come down marginally, but like I said, a lot more work really needs to be done to ensure that Kerala gets down its infection rate, because right now there's a lot of speculation that perhaps the third wave has already hit Kerala, and then there's a worry that for neighboring states there'll be a problem and that's how usually then it becomes a pan-India problem as well, and we cannot afford to have, you know, a third wave hit us full blown, and that's what experts have warned, that it could peak by October. Again, as far as Kerala is concerned, the government taking a number of steps. The Pinarayi Vijayan government has been facing a lot of flack, and that's why they've taken a step now of introducing a night curfew. So from tonight, that comes into effect. From 10 p.m. there'll be a night curfew that's put in place across Kerala. They have reopened largely because how long really can you keep things shut? A lot of questions about livelihoods, and that's why they've gone ahead and opened things up. But another warning for us as far as the COVID crisis is concerned is what's happening in the United States. Despite the record vaccination numbers that they've hit, you're seeing the Delta Plus variant creating a lot of problems. Reports coming in of how, you know, number of cases, case count has gone up, hospitalizations have gone up, and that is a serious worry in the United States. Perhaps should also ring alarm bells for our administration here in India to ensure that we're fully prepared to deal with this crisis. Now, as I wrap up this broadcast, I just want to also get you a lot of good news that's coming in from Tokyo. Our para athletes doing us so very proud. They've been like really raking in the medals for us. Right now, our medal tally stands at 5 with 1 gold from Avni Lekhera in the 10-meter air rifle. She's managed to bag gold and equaled a world record that's currently in place. Besides that, the other news that came in is that Yogesh Katunia has bagged silver in the discus throw. So we've got 5 medals so far. And you know, today, keep our fingers crossed. We can expect that more medals will pour in for the country because our para athletes have, you know, made it very clear that they're going to give it their all. We are hoping that we reach double digits also in the Paralympics in Tokyo. So that's something that we will get you live updates on here on India Today. For the moment, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great day.